Bernie Sanders recently tweeted, "Think about this. There is not a single state or county in America today where a full-time worker making minimum wage can afford the rent for a two-bedroom home."
So, Bernie Sanders has been on the warpath for higher wages for a very long time, and this TikToker by the name of Carl Emmerich points out something that's really important.
Does that sound remotely acceptable to you? Now, a lot of people will say, "That's crazy socialism, Bernie. Why should a minimum wage worker even have a two-bedroom home?" Well, funny enough, Adam Smith, who is often referred to as the father of modern economics or the father of capitalism, held a very similar opinion that he expressed in his most popular work, The Wealth of Nations. Smith writes, "A man must always live by his work, and his wages must at least be sufficient to maintain him. They must even upon most occasions be somewhat more. Otherwise, it would be impossible for him to bring up a family, and the race of such workmen could not last beyond the first generation." So even Adam Smith, the supposed founder of capitalism, understood that workers need to be able to make at least enough to sustain themselves and start a family if they want to.
By expanding on Bernie's point, he emphasizes that Adam Smith, the father of modern economics, the father of capitalism, actually wrote very clearly that capitalism would pretty quickly crumble if capitalists got so greedy that they didn't pay their workers enough to continue to survive. And this is really a testament to the fact that capitalists don't really read their own theory, or if they do, they pretty much basically ignore it. And the reason for that is perfectly predictable and actually sort of proves the socialist theories correct about the way that capitalists will behave. You see, capitalists are always about their short-term interests. They're always about making a profit today. They're always about accumulating property, accumulating wealth, about monopolizing industry, and when they can't monopolize anymore, they go on a crusade of imperialism to take resources from other countries. This is what socialist thinkers have pretty clearly laid out as the typical behavior of capitalists, and it tends to be proven true. But there's an inherent problem within this. And that's the fact that at a certain point, as Margaret Thatcher might say, you run out of other people's money, except in this case, you run out of other people's natural resources and labor to exploit. Because as soon as working class people, who are the primary consumers of the goods and services that are manufactured under capitalism, as soon as they can't afford to live, then all of a sudden they're not buying goods and services, and the entire economy comes crumbling down. Now, John Maynard Keynes was a theorist that came in a little bit later and said, hey, what if we maintain demand and maintain some basic necessities of life as the government so that maybe perhaps this whole capitalism thing can continue to work? But because of these radical free market extremists and their desires for privatization to no end, they basically have managed through Reaganite economics and through decades of effort through the Supreme Court and through elected officials and putting money into politics, they've managed to strip away protections for working class people. They've managed to focus the entire economy on short-term profits and now bring everybody to a breaking point where they're both complaining about people not spending enough money, while also at the same time, they're complaining about workers demanding too high of wages. And so with the United States economy seemingly crumbling before us, we have to ask the question of, why do these people continue to be committed to capitalism? Because as socialist thinkers will point out, the big differentiator between a socialist system and a capitalist system is on what authority is the state operating? Is the state operating to suppress the exploitation of capitalists to the benefit of the workers, which is known as socialism? Or is it working to suppress the workers to the benefit of the capitalists, which is known as capitalism? It's not that you immediately need to get rid of all private property or markets overnight under socialism. It's that you need to have a state that is working to suppress and limit the exploitation of capitalism with the hopes that the capitalist class eventually will wither away and become an unnecessary component of society so that everybody can have a shared prosperity of the economic growth. Unfortunately though, instead of having a state that is organized to the benefit of the workers, we have a state that's organized to the benefit of the capitalists with just a few representatives who seem like they're trying their best to represent the workers, while in the meantime they face an incredible amount of resistance from other elected officials. And that's the thing, in a lot of ways, even wealthy people do better under socialist systems than they do under capitalist systems. I mean, sure, their ability to influence the political system is greatly limited because the political system is designed to be inherently democratic, because the political system is designed to be inherently democratic as opposed to oligarchic, the reality is that it's just better to live in a society where people don't have to worry about things like housing, where people don't have to worry about things like healthcare, where people have basic necessities guaranteed to them, and as a result, there's much lower violent crime and much less extreme poverty, and overall quality of life increases for everybody. It's almost as though a socialist system benefits everybody in society, and a capitalist system only benefits capitalists. Who'd have thought? So it's really great that Bernie Sanders continues to fight for higher wages, but wouldn't it be great if we lived in a system where we could trust all of our politicians to fight for higher wages, where their number one interest was how their actions impacted and specifically benefited working class people? I, for one, think that that would be a much better system than what we currently have now.
This is Ben Carollo with Rebel Headquarters. You can catch my show Galaxy Brain every Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time on the Young Turks Twitch channel, and you can follow me at Benjamin Carollo on Twitter.